Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle comic review of Justice League of America, issue 112. Now, this is July 1974, and it's a good old 100-pager. I loved 100 pages for 60 cents. It's just a pity in many ways that they stopped this series, but that's the way it is. Here comes TV's Super Friends. Now, I must admit, that was lost on me at the time. We didn't have, of course, TV Super Friends, Justice League of America, all that sort of thing, so I probably would have completely ignored that statement. I'd only just noticed it even just then. However, what else has it got? You've got Starman, you've also got Seven Soldiers of Victory, and also you've got another Justice League of America story. This was obviously an earlier story. Now, this story was, the main one, was a continuation of a previous story where they lost half their powers and they got this contrived, very contrived story to get their powers back. But I loved these things. They were always great for a variety of different stories. So you also got featurettes and all those sort of things. So One Man Justice League. Now, Amazo was a character that turned up quite early in the Justice League of America. And I would have to say I'm not such a mega fan of the Justice League of America as the Avengers and Marvel Comics, of course. But Justice League of America, I quite often would pick up these issues and didn't always enjoy them. So I must, but when it comes to a complete history of understanding JLA back in those early issues, not so familiar with. But Amazo, I did know of. So you've got them looking there a bit forlorn, and you've got the great idea to bring him back. Story of Amazo's origin appears on page 26, says the editor. Yes! Put a big there. So you get Amazo, and I love the way they split the story, something that was always, to me, very unusual. But they did that in JSA and other ones as well. And also, of course, Seven Soldiers. Split the story. So you had the Flash, Black Canary, and an Elongated Man. Great name. I always thought the Elongated Man. And you've got, obviously, he's got the powers there of the Flash, etc. And you've also got, obviously, a variety of other abilities there. He's made a super scroll of DC Comics. However, also, I love always these adverts. So you've got all the records as well. If you own tapes or records, and it's got a whole here, Pat Boone, Fontaine Sisters, very unusual selection, Glenn Campbell, and so on. Oh, there, Superman, Aquaman, and the Green Arrow. So you've got obviously another story, and Batman is obviously pondering something, which is more important later on in the story, of course. A slight spoiler there. So you've got Aquaman, of course, battling against with Amazo, and, well, an Atom, of course. Good old Atom. I love the Atom character. Atom's one of my favourite characters. Anyway, there's the usual twists and turns at the end, and I'm not going to spoil the story. So let's go on to the little featurette. They've got Amazo and his creator. So you've got a little bit of a background story. This is from The Brave and the Bold, quite a way ago, June 1960. So June 1960, and stolen superpowers. And obviously, you counted him a bit later as Flash 158, etc., JLL 64, and others. Now, this one was a bit weird because they've actually split the story, so they actually had to put a little sort of give you obviously a little bit of information. I don't know why they did that, but anyway, they just put a little bit of a blurb about what happened in the previous issue, and then you got the Crimson Avenger. Seven Soldiers was great because it had sort of a bunch of characters that were sort of minor ranking characters, but I always enjoyed them. I really loved these sort of stories, and they were great. 1942, this one. So Seven Soldiers of Victory, and they were split as well. So you got now, not everyone likes Golden Age stuff, but I love these 100 pages because they would reprint these wonderful stories that I didn't really have any knowledge of at the time, but they had an energy that sometimes, well, it's a different sort of energy. However, Black Star, so you've got the Black Star, and then you go on to the Vigilante. Look at that Vigilante there. And I love Mort Meskin. It says Morton there, just to confuse, but Mort Meskin. And Vigilante, great. And also, I love the adverts. The adverts were great. They're unusual ones. Strange Sports, Sergeant Rock, you had Superman Commandy, Witching Hour, and so on and so on, the weird war stories, etc. They're great. I love this period. I bought quite a few of DC at that point. They were harder to get in Maidstone, my hometown, and so I was more Marvel, but there was one or two shops that stocked these sort of DC ones, so I would pop out and get them. But I did enjoy picking up many of these, and especially the 100 pages. I was always getting the 100 pages, and they were 15 pence, which was reasonably affordable, and for a reasonably sized, decent comic, I always felt. And the Vigilante there, again, just great action sequences, lots of great. I always loved the massive 7 Soldiers of Victory. I'm not saying why they had to put all that, would have been, but still, brilliant stories. And of course, you've got the Black Light. He's got now power with the Black Light. I can, the usual, rule the entire world. Anyway, of course he doesn't. But that's a different story. He's obviously got them battling. All of them all get together in the last thing. They're fighting away. Absolutely great stories. However, onto the JLL mailroom. Excellent stuff as well. You've got a lovely page there talking about all the various issues. Obviously 106, 107, 109, etc. Hawkman's resignation, etc. And then also the origin of Starman. And that was, for me, I must admit, I didn't know anything about Starman. So number 61 there. Adventure Comics number 61. Probably at that time, actually, some of these were, I wouldn't say affordable, but certainly possibly you probably could have got them if I'd been more active trying to get all those old comics. But now, of course, these comics are crazily expensive. But Avengers number 67, October 1941, probably wasn't that easy to find in the UK, I suppose. However, these sort of things, of course, filled the gaps. And I bought all these ones. I love these ones. First editions, famous first editions. And that one, Sensation Comics. And of course, Tarzan, absolutely brilliant. And you've got another lovely Starman there. Great little story there. So you've got Starman. They're always, let me see your gravity rod. I won't tell anyone, but I know a way of preventing your rod from working. Oh, really great. Nothing like having a kid that can turn around and say that. That's really what you want to know. So anyway, you've got Starman, a great character. Of course, I love the TV series now. We've got Stargirl, of course, got Starman and all that sort of stuff as well. But great, wonderful. They're very short as well. And then on to another story that, actually this one, a bit like the first one in many ways, Amazo. You got, well, obviously his superpowers, obviously, so, but this time you got super exiles of Earth, and where you've got this nice twist where you've got Atom, super Atom, obviously a more powerful Atom that can basically sort, and also likewise with Superman there, and obviously a solid chunk of kryptonite, and of course he's not weakened, but obviously Clark Kent is. And of course, you've got all the other characters, all faced there, basically their opposites or super-powered versions. And of course, they all then end up. But I love this bit with here. They all go off and we find out their identities. And there is a twist, of course, at the end on that sort of story. But they all show who they were, how ironic, etc. We know each other so well, but now introductions are in order. And of course, Ray Palmer, here's the Atom. I'm Oliver Queen, Green Arrow. Hal Jordan, blah, blah, blah. So it's a great little storyline, and well, I'm not going to show the end, but I enjoyed these ones. I've actually got the original as well. I love the JL. I've picked up quite a few of them, generally in very tatty editions, but they were just great little stories. And of course, there's a twist at the end, the real villain behind the whole story. Just not going to reveal that. And however, there's also another JL mailroom extra where the Hawkman, for some weird reason, they had the Hawkman story there. So, but these are great. I just love it, even if it is slightly tatty. But what a great little issue! Justice League of America. They've got lots of great little stories, and it's this, as it says here, 3 full-length novels. I'm not certain about that, but however, they were pretty good. And I always loved when they put that down the side as well. That little banner down the side where you could see all the characters: Black Canary, Flash, etc. Weirdly, poor old elongated man is not actually included on that list, which is very odd. No, well, Green Lantern's on it, Flash is on it, Atom's not on it though. That was always the trouble. Maybe they should have put one over there, but then it of course crushed out the other side. Though I guess they put it in there. However, I love these ones. Worth checking out. You can find these reasonably easily. Still 100 pages. You know, there's quite a lot of them, but there's people probably have collected the whole lot. And I don't know how many they made of these, but it wasn't a massive set. Over 100, I guess, of these sort of ones. And many are still reasonably easy to pick up, certainly in this sort of condition. Well, totally brilliant, excellent, and totally recommended.